Hey everyone, and welcome back to my completionist playthrough of the Baldur's Gate Saga with SCS. And welcome back indeed, because it's been a little while, and I think I'm going to post about it in the comments, not to waste time in the video, but suffice to say, now we should be able to slowly but surely get back to a more regular uploading schedule again. And let me just say that there's no person happier than me about the fact that finally we're able to sit back and play and record some Baldur's Gate again, and just enjoy the playthrough together once more. But anyway, on to the gameplay. As some of you might still remember, and this is not quite where we left off at the ending of the last episode, and that's because I want to showcase something, and for that we needed to go a little bit into the past. And this is where we started episode 110, at the very beginning of chapter 6, where we freshly arrived in Athkatla after all of our adventures in the Underdark. And in chapter 6, there's a new dream for us to experience. However, in our normal save, and since we immediately engaged in those lengthy crafting sessions with Cromwell and some other adventures, even though we did manage to rest a couple of times in the middle of all that, the dream just did not trigger for us, and we basically advanced time past the point where the dream normally appears, and at least according to my tests, in our normal save, without some heavy tinkering with the global variables, the dream would just not show up for us. So that's why we're back here temporarily, and we're going to immediately go straight to the Sea's Bounty. And we're going to rest a couple of times. The dream should show up for us, no problem. And then after we see it, we're going to be able to go back to our normal save and continue with our adventures from there. And there we go.
Awaken. Awaken and hear me. I bring visions of warning, of what is happening now, and what may happen soon. This image will speak true, for you are of two sides, and the liars have said their part. You travel in search of yourself, divided, splintered. There is a piece of you missing. The hole inside you fills with death, with darkness, while another, Irenicus, kills with your strength. Look at the destruction he has wrought. See the corruption that he brings.
And go, 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 Irenicus! Get him, get him, get him! Don't let anyone live! Yeah!
He has stolen your future to replace his own, avoided his proper fate. This must be undone. For your sake and theirs, you must take back what has been stolen. If their lives are not enough, then think of your own. You will lose yourself to the hole within. Yours is the potential to be your own worst enemy or your own savior.
So basically what you're saying is that I should just keep pursuing Irenicus. Well, I would have never figured that out myself, and that's totally not what I've been doing throughout this whole game. But anyway, of course this dream showcase shows the Irenicus's assault upon Soldaneslar, the elven hidden city that we are now going to be able to uncover thanks to our Rin Lanthorn that we have in our possession. That's going to be the next step in the main storyline. And by the way, I always cheer him on back there because these elves, you know, deserve to get punished. But anyway, of course, the dream also says about our soul being split and stolen, and also something about Irenicus avoiding his proper fate, and we're going to learn more about that later. Also, this dream vision is a vision of Elysim, and I'm mentioning her already because she's an important character that we're going to meet later, and she's the elven queen of Soldaneslar, and she has also a divine link to one of the elven gods, and this is going to be mentioned later. And also I'm talking about her already because we have heard her name as far back as Baldur's Gate 1. If you remember Prism, the artist near the Nashkel mines, apparently at one point he was able to witness the beauty of Elysim, and he was so enraptured and captivated by it that he felt compelled to recreate it and give it form as a sculpture. And that basically drove him to his death, because of course in the process of making it, that art piece, he exhausted himself to the point of dying, so that's already one kill on account of Elysim. But anyway, we're also talking about her because at the beginning of Baldur's Gate 2, in Irenicus's dungeon, we have already been in her room, that elven room with all of the traps and the alarm at the entrance of it belonged to Elysim, apparently, at one point. But we are going to learn more about her history with Irenicus later in Chapter 7. So we're going to leave it at that for now. Anyway, now that we have experienced this dream, we can go back to our normal save. And this is where we left off. Now, that's more like it. And by the way, when it comes to the gameplay, I'm probably going to be really rusty, but we're going to get back to our groove steadily. But anyway, in between recordings, I've reworked our spells a little bit, and primarily on Edwin, but we're going to get to that in a little bit. And also we have some things to do. Have some level ups. Kiranai is going to be level 26. There's not much that we can do with our thieving skills besides pumping up our stealth, and probably, you know, in a little bit we're going to just go for pickpocketing because there's basically nothing left for us to do. And as for her high level abilities, we're going to go for assassination. This is a very fun ability that you can only pick once, so we can only use it once per rest. And that basically what it makes you do is, for one round, every attack of Kiranai's, regardless of her positioning, is going to be a backstab. So whenever she has a lot of attacks, that's a potential for a lot of backstabs during a single devastating turn. And also, since we're on the topic of backstabbing, I think I've never really talked about weapons that you can backstab with, because that was never really an issue until she basically gained use any item, and now we have the Scarlet Ninja Toe in our possession, and also the Staff of the Magi. Basically, the weapons that you can backstab with are all the weapons that thieves can normally use. So for example, you know, even though you can be a fighter thief, for example, and use a two-handed sword, two-handed swords are not weapons that thieves can normally use, so none of them you can backstab with. However, there are also some exceptions that I wanted to mention here, of weapon types that thieves can normally use, like ninja toes or quarterstaves, but will fail a backstab when you have use any item and you can use them. And that's because this is not a weapon that a thief can normally use, as unintuitive as that might seem, because this is a weapon that only monks can use. So even though Kiranai is going to be able to equip it with, you know, her high level ability use any item, we sometimes, while using assassination, we're going to get the message and the combat log that the backstab failed. And that's going to be the backstab attempt with the Scarlet Ninja Toe, because, like I said, that's not normally a weapon that thieves can use, and it's not feasible to backstab with, I guess. And that's the same case with Staff of the Magi. That's only a staff that can be used by mages and sorcerers, so it's not possible to backstab with it. Alright, also we can see we have prepared Edwin with some stuff that we're going to talk about later. First let's do his level up. He's going to be level 19, get another level 8 spell slot, and I think his next high level ability that will suit him best is going to be improved alacrity, so he can unleash a lot of his the plethora of his spells that he can keep memorized one after another, although I don't think we're really going to use high level abilities much before Throne of Bhaal. But also, since we're talking about Edwin, let's give him one more Horrid Wilting for a little bit later. And also, we need to learn one spell with him. So let's drink our 2 potions of genius. And he is going to get one of these Tensor's transformation scrolls that Kiranai has. And he's going to learn that for some fun a little bit later in this episode. Alright, so get that, my man, and we're going to also memorize one of them, and I think we might have Scrolls of Contingency on someone, maybe not necessarily Kiranai. Actually, Edwin has that spell, right? Yeah, he can memorize that. Alright. Well, there is a plan behind all this. And anyway, now we have 5 in the morning, which is perfect for what we want to do, because we still have some stuff to do in Athkatla. I know that at the end of the last episode I mentioned some buying and selling, but we're actually going to do all that after the adventures that we're going to have in this episode. We actually need to stop by Trade Meet, for example, to pick up a few minor things, but for now we need to visit the Temple District, because keeping up with our tradition of destroying evil temples You know, we have something to do here. Of course, up until now, these temples always happen to be temples of Umberlee, but there are many other evil gods and their worshippers for us to smite. So today we're visiting the Temple of Talos. And by the way, I think I've never really mentioned this, but I really love the temple district at night, especially this alley and its lighting and everything. It's just beautiful. I love it here. And also, even though the visuals are that of nighttime at dawn here, when it comes to how NPCs function, we are basically in daytime hours, and that matters for us here. Yeah, because during the daytime, there's a little bit more of these Talos guys outside. There's Talon Nirkas and Talon Zogas outside, and also, most importantly, Mistress Ada should be up and about. Yeah, there she is. She's not asleep anymore, and that matters when it comes to our upcoming fight here, because normally, if she's just sleeping in bed, even if you attack her and initiate the whole combat here, she like doesn't get up. You know, like this version of her and her scripts does not appear and does not load, so she just dies in a very underwhelming manner. And of course, she's the head of this Talos temple here, so we want to kill her properly and at least give her a little bit of a chance to fight back and at least receive some SCS pre-buffs. Of course, at this point in the game, we're so powerful that she's going to get obliterated, but still. We have to do this properly, and also let's just quickly see if we need anything else from her. You know, Mistress Ada, your goods and services are lacking, and for that, you must die. You will be punished. Anyway, I think we should have some spells at our disposal. Let's just do a few quick buffs. Also, once we initiate combat here, a few more of these guys are going to spawn, and there's also going to be a mage with them. So Mistress Ada is a level 20 cleric, and I think she also starts with an earthquake. We'll see about that. I don't think we really need too many buffs for our mages here. Just give them some mirror images. Anyway, Mistress Ada is a level 20 cleric, and these Storm Knights are fighter clerics of level 12, and there's also going to be a level 16 mage that's going to spawn a little bit later. Also, we might give ourselves Remove Fear. We could go with some chaotic commands, because they are going to have greater commands, trying to, you know, disable us with all that, but I don't think I want to cast all that. Well, maybe let's just make sure that Nashira doesn't get affected by that. Also, one thing that we're going to want to do is actually get rid of, or use our sequencers on Imoen and Edwin, because we're going to have a plan to set up some new ones. Anyway, now let's just give a little punch to the face to Mistress Ada. Give her a little slap from Senashira to initiate combat. Boom. Right, we can re-equip ourselves and just wait for all of them to go hostile and get their pre-buffs and whatnot. Yeah, a lot of them spawned, a lot of those SCS scripts got loaded. Alright, now, there we go. Those are some pre-buffs worthy of a level 20 cleric, but it still is not going to do you any good. Now, our ranged attacks we're going to direct at this dude. And our melee attacks can go onto Mistress Ada. Just want to... We didn't manage to interrupt his Unholy Blight, but anyway, we will receive some damage from those Unholy Blights, I guess. There's going to be a lot of them coming at us, and I didn't pre-buff with protection from magical energy. That doesn't matter too much. Yeah, and there's that Earthquake that she starts out with. This is going to go on for a couple of turns. Yeah, we did receive a little bit of damage, but doesn't really matter. Actually, Jaheira got disabled by that Earthquake, and not only Jaheira but also Edwin. Actually, let's wait out that first round, so we have all of our party members operational here. I don't really mind the little damage that Earthquake does, but I do want to heal Jaheira. Stop being lazy, Jaheira. This is no time to rest. And I also want to have Edwin, because we want to use his sequencer on the mage. Come on, Edwin. Snap out of it. Alright, there we go. Yeah, here are some spawns. And there's that mage, Shalene. She's going to have some pre-buffs and whatnot, but we are going to deal with them. in a second. We could actually use a little bit of Aganazar's Scorcher perhaps to interrupt some of those guys. I'm going to direct our other party members to the east, not to get caught in all that. Oh wow, that was pretty unimpressive when it comes to our aim. Perhaps Imoen can use her double magic missile to interrupt her. That's Storm Knight over there. We're going to attack, and we also probably want to speed up Edwin because he's kind of lagging behind there. We need to get you into position, Edwin, and we need to unleash your triple remove magic onto that mage to get rid of her quickly. Boom, and now you can give back your boots, I guess. Extremely realistic situation here, and I think we're going to direct all of our range damage and Anomen onto that mage, and perhaps Jaheira can help Sinashira a little bit on our western flank. Alright, she has a spell trigger here with Death Spell, Powered Silence, and Remove Magic. We just scoff at that. Alright, I think we need Sinashira over there. Oh wow. So there's a triple remove magic spell sequencer coming at us, which is not that great when it comes to our mages. We got totally affected by that, and you don't have any more mirror images, it seems. Neither does Imoen for some reason. Must have depleted all of our magic mirror image reserves, I guess, in the previous episodes. Alright, let's just get rid of this mage already. Alright, here's a mass cure. We don't really care about that. We're going to damage through that easily. I think your puny sanctuary will save you from our wrath. Well, maybe if you didn't break it yourself, that could have done something for you. But anyway, we should be just about finished when it comes to the inside of this temple. Yeah, no one else remaining, and it's kind of interesting is that Mistress Ada is going to have another copy of this Necklace of Talos. We of course, you know, stole one from the chest when she was asleep, but there's also one on her person if you want to pickpocket it or kill her for it, for that quest for Mavar. And we're going to have some goodies to loot, and I am going to loot all that because we are going to have some expenses in Throne of Bhaal. Let's just quickly loot all of these full plates and whatnot. This is going to serve us well. Yeah, I want all this stuff. Alright.
Yes.
We just need to finish our business here outside. Interrupt these guys if we can. Get some basic spells going. Quick to cast spells. And Jaheira, maybe you can interrupt Talon Zogas over there. Alright, these guys already are dead. I think Anomen is stuck back there. Alright, cool. So another city cleansed of the evil influence of some evil temple, like the one of Talos here. A job well done by us. Anyway, this is not even the main portion of our adventures that we are supposed to engage in this episode. And yeah, this one is going to be a little longer, but I think we deserve some more action after the break we've had. Basically, now we're going to focus a little bit on Edwin, and from now on he's going to be the main star of this episode, because like I mentioned many times before, he is not going to stay with us in Throne of Bhaal. So let's give Edwin some time in the spotlight. Let's give him some chances to shine. In this episode, we're going to explore the 2 wilderness areas that got unlocked in Chapter 6. These ones contain some more action than the third one, that Small Tooth Pass, I think it's called. Anyway, here we want to actually rest until it's nighttime, and it's going to only require 1 rest, because the first time we progress to the south, there is a little graveyard, a little tomb, and there are always 2 ancient vampires there, even if it's daytime. But if it's daytime, they are going to immediately turn into their gaseous forms and escape, and to my knowledge, they never come back. So for the first time, we want it to be nighttime so that we can kill them properly. And we have all of our spells already set up, so let's just rest once. And I already made a mistake because I wanted to remember about resting with our familiar out. This is not going to be relevant for just yet, but we want to give that familiar some rest because we cast his AoE invisibility spell last episode, and we didn't rest with him outside of our backpack, which does not regenerate his spells. Anyway, what we want to do first, I think we are going to do some pre-buffs on everyone. Some basic, long-lasting pre-buffs. I think we can already start pre-buffing with some chaotic commands. Chaotic commands I think everyone is going to get, or at least Adaman and Senashira. Maybe not everyone, because I think in the next area we're going to have a... well... no, actually with some micro we're not going to have any need for chaotic commands in the next area. Because there are likely going to be some mists that cast chaos, but they basically have a pretty lengthy animation for that, and they always cast it upon themselves. So you can easily outrange it. Anyway, let's get some basic protections. Yeah, I'm unfortunately not as quick when it comes to our pre-buffs. But like I said, we're going to get there. I'm going to get there in time. Now what else do we want on you, Edwin? I think we're actually going to give you the spirit armor. I'm going to give you... actually, before we do anything else, let's first just get rid of these 2 vampires. And we're going to have Adaman and Senashira because they are both protected from level drain. They have both chaotic commands, so these ancient vampires shouldn't be able to do too much to us. We're just going to quickly get rid of them. Alright, they summoned those rats to the east, and we actually don't want to progress too far to the east because there's one fight that Edwin is going to have in a second with some Yonti that usually are up there. Alright, here come the hordes of enemies. Just gotta clear them out a little bit. Right, the shapeshift bat, the nemesis of ours, did trigger there. And the ancient vampire, unfortunately, is pretty far away from us. We need to clear out some of these enemies. And yeah, she is going to the southwest, and we also don't want to really progress too far down there because there's another group of enemies that we have some other tactics in mind for. Just quickly clear out these targets, and we're going to have to change our scripts likely to be able to target that bat. She is still there. That shapeshift bat, man. That is something that I truly, truly hate. Anyway, we're going to have to be on our guard, I guess, when it comes to all that. Now, we are going to throw away this glitter dust minor sequencer that Edwin had, and we're going to set up some new stuff on him. At least when I remember about it. Alright, so in the minor sequencer, we're going to put up strength and this ghoul touch, and I'm going to explain later. And we're also going to do his normal sequencer. And in that one we're going to put triple skull trap. Boom. Alright, also we have prepared some other things for Edwin, but this is not for just yet. We have many fights in store for Edwin. I think we're also going to give him, maybe not Senashira's, but Jaheira's Boots of Speed. Alright, and first we're going to encounter those Yuan-Ti, and I think we're going to have some fun with our symbol stuns. We're going to stun these simians by unleashing our chain contingency at the nearest enemy, let's say, upon the condition of seeing enemy, and we have 3 of these symbol stuns to unleash. And this usually takes a little bit to trigger. Freeze! Police! You know, being a dork on camera, I miss that. I miss that a lot. Anyway, I think we're going to need a little help in dispelling this dude. They don't have improved invisibility, do they? Yeah, you basically have nothing. And I was hoping that he would actually be in range of that stun, but clearly the sometimes also you can see that they have a little bit of magic resistance. I think they have like 10% magic resistance. Sometimes they can get lucky. Not all of them even got stunned. So this plan did not work as well as I had hoped it would. But anyway. Alright, the Yuan-Ti mage cast Mantle, and we're probably just going to allow Senashira to take care of him in a second, but first let's have some fun and unleash some skull traps. Look at this magic resistance, man! You are getting exceptionally lucky there. I was hoping actually to showcase something that we have already kind of experienced with Karsamir in the last episode, because if this guy got stunned, we would automatically hit with all of our attacks, and the Staff of the Magi does the exact same thing. It hits as a +5 weapon, so it would bypass his mantle, and it casts a level 30 dispel magic with each hit, so we would be able to dispel his combat protections with it, like Stone Skin, the fire shields, and his mantle. And we might still take a shot at it with Edwin, but of course, you know, with his Thaco, this doesn't carry a great chance to work. But it actually did, because he scored a critical hit, which of course automatically succeeded. And that means that, you know, his spell protections are still up, but I think we're going to just quickly have Senashira take care of him. And we're going to bunch up the other Yuan-Ti. He renewed Stone Skins, but that doesn't matter. I want to showcase something that we have not used yet. Alright, thank you, Senashira. Here we also had a certain 1-2 punch on the Staff of the Magi. It can cast a lightning bolt followed by a fireball. So I just wanted to showcase that. It has 3 uses per rest. There it is. We first aim the lightning bolt and then a fireball will follow. Like that, boom. Anyway, I think not to prolong this for too long. Edwin had some fun with his spells, but this is not even the main thing we had in store for Edwin. Come on, bash on that Yuan-Ti. It dispelled the stun on him, but anyway. Now we're done with that, and I would like to probably try to find this vampire if it is still there, although I think we're going to first have to do a fight to the west. And for that we're going to have to set up a new... You don't have your minor sequencer. We're going to have to set up a new minor sequencer on Imoen. We have prepared 2 webs for her, and we're going to use a double web minor sequencer. We're going to speed up all of our mages here, and Edwin is going to already prepare one of his polymorph self spells that we have memorized on him, and we're going to change into a sword spider, because we have not really showcased the tactics with the sword spider involved. We are going to do it twice, but in this fight it's going to be a little bit more basic, how you would normally use it, and in the next area we're going to use Polymorph Self again with some more like tricky tactics that are not entirely, that were not entirely intended, I guess. Anyway, let's progress to the west, and there are some more simians for Edwin to deal with. Anyway, and now we can change him into a sword spider. And as a sword spider, he has decent strength and dexterity, but what's most important is that a sword spider has 4 attacks per round, and it's also automatically hasted. So has 5 attacks, can poison, is immune to web, and is immune to poison itself. So that can be useful in various situations, and of course in combos that you can create yourself. And that haste is actually related to this default spider weapon that he gets, but we're going to talk more about that in the next area. First, we actually want to... we of course can't cast spells when you're in a form like that, but first we're going to progress a little bit with our other mages. You can see how quick Edwin is, with both the Boots of Speed and that haste that the sword spider normally has. Alright, here's a group of mercenaries, I guess, of some sort. And they're basically all around level 14. They have an archer, they have an invisible thief that's going to backstab, a mist method that can blind. There's some fighters like this Duergar and this mercenary, and they also have a mage in their ranks. And basically what we want to do is we're going to unleash that minor web sequencer from Edwin. Actually, that's going to happen in a second. First I want to... there's that mage. And we want for his pre-buffs to trigger. Alright, now we're going to release our triple remove magic from Senashira. And now... oh, Senashira got blinded just by that mist method. Anyway, now we're going to unleash the double web from Imoen, which should immobilize a lot of them. Alright, and now we can unleash Edwin upon them, and once they are immobilized, all of his attacks are going to automatically hit. So even though his Thaco is not too great, he is going to be able to hit them and likely poison them. Alright, so we can apply the poison to the Duergar. We want to apply the poison to that mage. Although the mage, of course, is not immobilized because of his either globe or minor globe. I can't even be bothered to check. But we are going to be able to poison him. Yeah, he is poisoned, so he is not going to be able to cast too much on account of that. His contingency with Stoneskin fired, but we don't really care about that. Some stragglers that manage to go out of the web we can deal with our other mages, and here we're just going to distribute that poison between the different characters here. We have to remember that Edwin still has pretty low HP in this form. Oh, here's that backstabbing thief, who revealed himself and made himself invisible again, but actually we have a nifty little tool in the form of Albruin available to us that, just as it was able to do in Baldur's Gate 1, in Baldur's Gate 2, it can still reveal invisibility very quickly after that little delay, and we can of course make use of that in certain situations. Alright, everyone's poisoned here. It's going to keep ticking a little bit. There's that greater wyvern that's always there. That's got pulled into the fight. We just want to make sure that this mage can't really do anything. Of course that poison stacks, and after a couple of hits it can actually do some damage. And we also see that ancient vampire somewhere that revealed itself. Polymorphed itself into a rat, and we are going to actually get our other characters already here. Alright, that thief already died. The ancient vampire, I think, went invisible. They have the ability to do so. Yeah, they can be hidden. Right, the mage still not dealt with, although he has been poisoned a couple of times. Yeah, he is receiving some decent damage. Badly injured. Alright, we can get back and poison some other guys. Now, unfortunately, we're running the risk of getting level drained by that vampire, depending on what it decides to do next. Alright, a minor sequencer, this mage fired with some... Oh no, a spell sequencer with improved invisibility and 2 fire shields. That is not going to save you, there, mage.
Nothing but die. Yes, it will be done. What is certain?
I'm just really trying to take a look and see if that that vampire, what it wants to do there. Right, there it is. Anyway, I don't want to bring Kiranai too close there, so that she doesn't get level drained. It's not that big of a deal, we have plenty of restoration scrolls, but still. Alright, there we go. Finally. Actually, I think we can already give this back to Enaman. Enaman does not need that speed anymore. The ancient vampire is trying to escape. Did it die, or did it not? I don't think it died. It just escaped in bad form. Right, our webs seem to have ended. Now we can just go in for the kill. Actually, let me just study this combat log a little bit closer here, if we can see. Yeah, the ancient vampire just shapeshifted into a bat, and I thought it received a hit that might have killed it, but no, it must not have been the case. It's nowhere to be seen. I know there's that greater wyvern. Oh, that shapeshift bat, man, I hate it so much. Alright, and also in this southeastern corner, there's usually a couple of these mists, so we might as well occupy ourselves with those. There should be a few more of them that we're going to be able to reveal in a second. Right, the greater wyvern is dead as well. Right, here are some... There's a poison mist creeping that... These mist horrors actually can cast chaos, but there's a certain animation involved into that, and they always cast the chaos where they are the center of it. So we shouldn't really be too concerned about that, even if we are not protected against it. Anyway, this whole fight with the web and sword-spider combo and stuff, this was at our power level. This was a little bit more trouble than it was worth. But in the next area we are going to show the true power of some tricks involved with the sword spider. It would be nice if you showcased your animation. Oh yeah, there it goes. And now it casts chaos on itself. So if you are close when that animation goes off, you can actually get confused. Confused. Oh my god, that ancient vampire, I will not rest until we have been able to discover where it's hiding. Do you have still... Yes, you do. We're going to have some true seeing ticking. I'm going to try and... You are not detecting illusions.
Yes, without doubt.
Hope it didn't just despawn.
The light shall prevail.
Quickly and precisely.
That might have been the case.
Nice. Very well.
Speak without hesitation.
Time to move. You can count on me.
I'm just constantly pressing tab so we can see the name Ancient Vampire, hopefully, somewhere, but I don't think it's going to be the case, as as you can see my hatred for that stupid shift is not unwarranted. We were deprived of some experience because of that, and some fun when it comes to killing that ancient vampire. That's very unfortunate. But anyway, here we can open this like tombstone, I guess, and there are some random treasures that can be of some pretty good variety. And we got a pretty valuable amulet there. Protection from fire, and also one arrow of detonation. And now we can loot these guys. They don't really have too much exciting stuff on them, except the mage, who should have a time stop scroll, which is very valuable.
Yes?
Alright, first let's bunch up.
What is it?
I guess we just have to come to terms that this vampire just escaped us. I am so displeased and upset with that. Oh my god. Almost as much as with the fact that that one lady who backstabs Czar escaped us. Meronia, I think was her name. That still haunts me, man. That still bothers me. Anyway, let's get back to it. Got some arrows that I might as well stash in here. Some more goodies to sell. Yeah, there's that time stop scroll. Very nice. And also that thief. I'm going to loot in a second. He might still have some potions. Yeah, on invisibility and dagger +2. And just standard magical stuff that is going to sell for some gold. Alright, and that's basically it when it comes to the nighttime, but we are going to rest here once more, because there's a different encounter if it's daytime, and if it's not your first visit upon this tombstone. So we are still going to be able to have some action here. And here I think I'm just going to protect Sinashira from fire. And I think she's probably going to solo. Oh, also, we might as well protect ourselves against petrification, because I think one of these genies, that Dao Jin, actually has flesh to stone. And there's going to be an Ifriti. And, oh, that moose suffered from that fireball. You bastard, you evil bastard, now you have to die. For killing that innocent moose. Also, seeing that it's an Ifriti, that reminds me that we have a certain tool, this wave halberd, that we can use to instantly slay Ifriti. Even though we are not proficient with it, we are going to use it. And provided that you can land a hit there, Sinashira. Boom! Yes! Instant death. We are going to actually make a lot more use of that wave halberd in Throne of Bhaal at a certain place. Anyway, reveal thyself. I think he actually might be on his way to our other party members. Sometimes they can be pesky like that. I think we are going to have to call upon the services of Albruin to just quickly use that ability and perhaps reveal him. Not anywhere close to us, apparently. That might have been the doing of some pathfinding. He wanted to go somewhere in some roundabout way. Yeah, that's Dao Jin. Come on, man. Oh, flesh to stone to him, and yeah, that's it. Fortunately, she saved. But yeah, that's the danger. So finally, he reveals himself. And, you know, of course, only Sinashira was protected, because if she gets affected by that, it's game over for us. And when it comes to Imoen, we would be able to unpetrify her and recruit her again to our party. But anyway, everything is not going according to plan in this episode, but hopefully this next area, because we are truly done with this one, And hopefully this next area is going to be a little bit more smooth for us. And there really isn't like any epic encounters in this one, but there are some stuff, some adventures to engage in. And we're going to have some fun with Edwin as well. And also his spells refreshed, and his spells are kind of subpar, but that doesn't really matter too much. Here we actually might give Edwin chaotic commands for later. Actually, we could use chaotic commands on everyone, because we are going to be in one situation where everyone is going to be at a danger of being affected by chaos, simply because we're going to be stuck in a small room. Right, Edwin, Imoen, Jahiera.
Yes, master. What should I fetch now?
Alright, Edwin, my man. We are already going to set up a contingency on him. Upon seeing an enemy, he is going to buff himself up with Tensor's transformation. And that's going to be part of our little combo here of some stuff that we're going to do. We might already give him some more stuff, but actually let's first finish up this thing. Kirinai is the only one that requires another buff. And might as well just do our usual stuff. We are actually going to need Remove Fear, because there might be some wandering horrors with their morale break ability. And I think that's going to be it. We just need to get our Boots of Speed situation underway, and I think it more or less is underway. Also, we are going to cast a spell called Clairvoyance, which is going to reveal the whole map. And this is pretty useful on this map, because how it's set up with all of these fallen trees and excuse me, and these branches, actually moving around on this map can be a little difficult. Not all of these branches can be used to move through them, but since we have the whole map revealed, we can simply tell our party where to go, and they will actually find their way. Although I think I'm pretty familiar with what you can step on here and what you can't. And this is going to allow us to have a more smooth experience, I guess. Alright, here we can cast this Fire Shield Red. We can protect Edwin from being dispelled. There's going to be one fight where he's going to be at a risk of being dispelled, and I think now we can do some more polymorph self shenanigans. And basically, when it comes to polymorph self, of course if you are polymorphed into a sword spider, you cannot cast spells, but you can unleash sequencers, and also contingencies can trigger upon you. And also when it comes to Tensor's transformation, perhaps we should have a little free refresher on that spell. It basically is going to give Edwin some really good combat boosts, primarily some hit points, and improve his armor class, and Thaco primarily. And it also prevents Edwin from casting, but that doesn't matter because he's going to be in his sword spider form. So that's how you can kind of apply this buff while you are a sword spider, which we are going to turn into right now. And also, since we can unleash spell sequencers, we can unleash this minor sequencer with the strength spell, which is going to improve our performance a little bit by increasing our strength, and it's also going to give us Ghoul Touch. And Ghoul Touch can be used for this trick, as well as Chill Touch, the level 1, but this one lasts for longer and has a worse effect. And basically, Ghoul Touch is going to allow us for 5 rounds to like paralyze enemies. That doesn't really matter. What we want to do with it is actually get rid of the default spider attack on Edwin, and in 5 rounds it's going to expire, and then we are going to be able to do some cool tricks. And also, this is going to present that this haste is actually covered by that innate spider attack. Now we only have 4 attacks instead of 5, and we move slower because that haste effect is bestowed by that spider weapon, I guess, that the sword spiders use. So now we cannot poison anymore, and we are not hasted, but we have this oil of speed that we can apply on Edwin. As a spider, he can also drink potions and apply oils of speed. Alright, we have Yuanti here, not some mists. Because in the daytime, the mists are less likely to spawn. I think there's one static group of them in the southeast, but we might get... There's actually a really wide variety of creatures that can spawn on this map. Like, there can be some lizard men, even some gnolls and stuff like that. Very weak creatures sometimes can spawn for us. Anyway, since he still has that ghoul touch, let's just have some fun with it. We might be able to paralyze some guys. And yeah, our Tensor's transformation now procced. So now our Thaco is way better. Now we have 122 hit points. Our armor class is better. So now we have, you know, 5 attacks with the Ghoul Touch, also with that strength buff. But we're looking forward for this effect to actually pass, and so that we can engage in some more fun stuff. And that's why I mentioned that this is not really intended, I guess, by the developers, getting rid of the default spider attack and then being able to use some other stuff. But anyway, I think we're just going to maybe give Kiranai the Boots of Speed, and she can make use of Karsamir. If I can quickly find it. To dispel the inevitable mantle. Of the Yuanti Mage once he reveals himself. But yeah, also when it comes to Tensor's transformation and all of our combat boosts, Tensor's transformation only lasts for 1 round per level, so we don't have that much time. We have not even 2 turns to make use of it and kind of clear a lot of this map as I want. Alright, boom. Karsamir Dispel worked for us. Thank you very much, Karsamir. Now we can rearrange our stuff, give you your melee weapons, and now we can go to town. Alright, now that sound indicated that Kiranai's, well, combat protection is well dispelled. So she lost her chaotic commands, which does not matter in the slightest. We're going to actually keep her with some melee weapons, and we're going to give this Fire Tooth to Edwin, and perhaps we can also give him a little... one of our staves of striking.
What is it? What do you want? Oh, I'll show you a fight.
Right, he had his normal spell sequencer with haste and double shields. We don't really care. Just die, please. Alright, now we continue our exploration with Edwin, primarily. And I think we should be able to get onto this main tree from here. Alright, there's some more mists. Actually, vampiric mist that can level drain, so let's... We can't equip Edwin with his amulet of power because of his unequipable amulet that gives him the additional 2 memorization slot, and now that sound means that our Ghoul Touch has expired, and now we can actually use any weapons that Edwin can normally use. So for example, if we equip this Staff of the Magi, we are going to have 5 attacks with it. And we are going to be able to, you know, with our nice Thaco, nice stats, we are actually going to be able to like reliably dispel other people. We can also equip with him the Fire Tooth Dagger, and now he's going to be a dagger-throwing spider. And he's actually going to be able to do some really good damage with it. Look at that spider, just let's behold that. Boom! Edwin is going to town on that Crimson Death. Boom! Yes! And also we can use the Staff of Striking to deal some more damage in melee if we elect to do so. Oh, goblins? Really? Isn't this the... Oh no. This is where we're going to battle some cultists. And here we only have some goblins. We can also use our Wand of Fire. Let's just dispose of them quickly. And actually, let's do that cult fight first. There's a panther that wants to die. Right, Mist Horror and Crimson Death. Nothing for us to worry about. You have your proper weapon equipped. Of course, these tactics, by the way, with the polymorph self, especially this one, you know, it's not really that useful for a whole party playthrough, especially, you know, with at this point in the game, where we're so powerful. But when you're soloing, for example, as a sorcerer, most likely, this is a fun combo to do and really useful at various points in the game. Anyway, here we have some wyvern cultists, and there's going to be a mage with them. And I think we're going to... Right, we used Albruin, actually. So let's have Animan try to reveal that guy. And Edwin, in the meantime, is just going to attack some other guys. Perhaps this Staff of Striking only has 5 charges, because that's one of the ones that we have purchased from one of the temples. Actually, we have one more to purchase from the Temple of Lathander. But of course we have that one with like 17 charges left, I think. Of course these staves can be easily recharged, so I don't really care that much about, you know, spending some charges for you know, in the interest of having some fun. So yeah, we can deal some damage with it. We're also refracting some damage with our fire shield, but what I really want to do is get close to this mage and now use our Staff of the Magi to dispel him with our 5 attacks with it. We are going to be able to dispel him, and that's going to be over for him. Boom! Alright, remove magic at Seranaman. Let's just minimize its effects. Alright, and now of course our level 30 dispel on this guy succeeded. And with the Staff of the Magi, this 5 attacks per round dispelling super quick spider, boom, can do some work, definitely. We probably don't have too much longer left on our Tensor's transformation, so let's quickly proceed north after this. We're going to loot these guys in a second, but first let's actually go here to the north and have one more fight where we'll be able to make use of Edwin's stuff. Okay, mutated gibberlings. There's always some low-level group here, sometimes goblins, sometimes them. So let's just get rid of them. Yeah, Edwin, you know what? You need to throw some more daggers, I think.
Yes, certainly, without doubt.
Boom! Alright, where's... Alright, here's Sinashira. Was that your Tensor's transfer? No.
Yes, without hesitation.
Not yet.
Oh, travelers, hold a moment.
Anyway, here's an old friend of ours, Koran from Baldur's Gate 1. Our excellent archer that we have had in our Baldur's Gate 1 party for quite a long while, since our arrival in Cloakwood. Anyway, he is apparently hiding out in here in the forests of Tethyr. Apparently he got bored and tried to find us, but apparently we kind of vanished after our triumph in Baldur's Gate, or shortly after. You seem to drop off the face of Faerun. But what is important is that I was traveling my forest of Tethyr with my beloved Safana, if you remember her, and now she is kidnapped. It is dreadful. So Safana, another reappearance from another recruitable companion from Baldur's Gate 1, although we didn't make use of her services, but she is that female thief that's a seductress, and she uses her charms to manipulate men. 2 days ago, we were beset by giant wolves, wolf-wearers, I fear. They tried to take us both, but I was able to escape. Safana, however, was not so fortunate. I tracked them to an encampment near here, but even a great warrior such as myself cannot beat them alone. I hoped someone to come along, and here you are. Yeah, what a great plan, you know, to just, like, hide somewhere in the forest and hope for some help to arrive. Anyway, we must save her, and we will help him in his quest. But first, what we really want to do is actually visit this cabin that I hope he didn't really try to live in. Oh, would you look at that? There's a random treasure. That's usually just a little bit of gold, but we actually got back our Scroll of Tensor's Transformation that we used on Edwin. Let's just teleport our guys to not have any issues with our pathfinding. Alright, still under the effects of Tensor's Transformation, very nice. And here, unfortunately, this cabin, we cannot just enter with some of our party members. Because this is an area transition that gives us an autosave, we have to enter with our whole party here. And for that reason, let's actually pre-buff with Imoen a little bit. And yeah, this is the close quarters encounter where some of these mist horrors are going to be able to cast chaos on us. Everyone's protected except Kirinai, who is going to receive some boots of speed, I think, and just maneuver out of this situation, I guess, when we need to. Also, there are vampiric mists, actually just one of them, that can drain levels. Wandering horrors can break our morale, and they can stun. And Crimson Death are just... they don't do anything special, they just can dish out some relatively decent damage, I guess, when it comes to mist standards, at least. Anyway, we're going to first try to dispose of that wandering... that vampiric mist. And actually here we can try to get rid of this mist horror before it can unleash its chaos. Alright, that one is well out of our range. We don't really need to be concerned about that. The vampiric mists at this point die pretty easily. And the wandering horror, of course, this animation here signifies that that ability that attempts to break our morale. And let's see if we dropped any items. We did not. Alright, cool. Of course, you know, Edwin can contribute some pretty good physical damage, but of course he cannot cast spells. So just in a full party, usually we kind of want, in such situations, to have access to our spells coming from our mages. There's actually a vampiric mist attempting to level drain Edwin there. I think it went invisible, it didn't die at the beginning of this fight. But anyway, now we're down here. There's actually quite a few traps to disarm. And some goodies to pick up here. Actually, these bullets +1 I am going to leave. Some potions, and there's going to be some more stuff for us to sell here.
Quickly and precisely.
Well, I am going to get all that. Let's just give like 2 more potions to Imoen. We can identify all that at this point in the game. I guess the bolts +2 are still useful to us, especially since we have Imoen using the Firetooth crossbow. Yeah, Wand of Lightning, this is something that Edwin is going to identify. More stuff to sell. More stuff for you to carry. Alright, our next order of business is going to actually loot these cultists. They don't have much, but they might have some potions for us. Some basic loot. Oh yeah, these goblins apparently were able to provide us with some scrolls. Anyway, we're going to explore to the south first, before engaging in Koran's quest. Yeah, we're going to actually be able to go down through this branch. Yeah, another Mist Horror and Crimson Death. Alright, Tensor's transformation expired on Edwin, so of course his hit points are much lower and his Thaco is way worse, but still, it doesn't really matter that much. He can still contribute when it comes to the his physical damage.
What is it? You wouldn't hurt something else. If it must be done.
I think we're going to just leave him in this form for now. We don't really need access to his spells. And some Ogrillians, like I said, there are some really weak enemies that can spawn in this area. Of course, they are no match for us. And there's a certain cave that we want to go into.
That item has been dropped.
Just some inventory management.
Yes.
Alright, and let's go inside. There is a little trap that can catch the unprepared. There's also some loot. With this notable mana bow, which is yet another underwhelming longbow in the game, just providing a little bit of magic damage resistance, not magic resistance. and just +4 Thaco, whatever. We are going to sell it. We have some bullets and some darts. I think we sorted those. I'm going to sort those properly in between episodes. Anyway, we can disarm that, and there's going to be some Kuotoa in the next room. I think we're just going to go without any fancy tactics, just overwhelm them with our physical damage. Alright. This actually, yeah, it doesn't carry a lot of a chance to be successful because Kuotoa and mages are so low level. So the remove magics are basically no problem for us at this point in the game.
Go bother someone else.
Ready and willing.
Speak. Yes, without hesitation.
And even more of these.
What is it?
Okay, there's also a group that can spawn behind us,
Speak.
and it did.
Yes. What this will not take long.
Perhaps we can provide them with a little bit of fire that they so love. Never miss a chance when it comes to using again as our Scorcher. That is my policy.
If it must be done. Next, yes.
Something up?
What is it?
I am ready.
Speak.
You will fall by my hand. Fall, creature, and feed
Yes,
the
it will
earth.
be.
Alright, cool. And we're going to have loads more of these Kuotoan bolts, thanks to these groups. I think I'm going to loot some, but we are basically set for life when it comes to these bolts. I just can't bear to see them kind of rot away on the ground.
More. That item has been dropped.
But yeah, this is going to be another problem for inventory management. Right, you know what? This would require way too much
Yes.
of clicking through the quick loot. We have scavenged a lot of these bolts, regardless. Actually, I think now we're going to properly re-equip everyone. I think Kirina is going to get back to her ranged damage dealing, and we're just going to have the boomerang dagger on Edwin. And he can stay in his Spidey form.
It will be done.
Alright, and the last thing we have left is to go back to where we came from, where we started in this area, and engage in that Koran's quest.
Speak. Search. Yes.
Here's a Lanfear, a wolfware addressing us, apparently intruding upon our domain, and here's Safana, her captive. No, this is the one I told you about, Lanfear. This is Senashira. Kill her, and the wizard will reward you and your pack with riches beyond your dreams. This is the creature you spoke of? Bah, you said that Koran would accompany her. You said Koran would bring her to me. And there comes Koran.
Yeah, west of my
Not
thoughts.
to it.
Oh, travelers. Hold
What?
a moment.
My darling Safana, what have you done? Don't be a fool, Koran. Why do you think I insisted we come down here? It was to find Senashira. Do you have any idea of the bounty that is on her head? Safana, no, I won't let you do this. Just get out of the way, moron. Lanfear, kill Senashira as per our agreement. I do not follow your orders, human witch. I care nothing for this bounty. All I wished for was that Koran would come to me at last. So as you can see, everyone here has their own game. Lanfear just wanted Koran, whom she is in love with. Safana just wants the bounty for our head, and Koran, poor Koran, just wanted to save Safana from the clutches of Lanfear. Kill her now, I demand it. And that's what you get from demanding stuff from Lanfear, I guess. Safana, my love. Do not wail for the human, my Koran. She betrayed you and never loved you, not as I do. You love me? How is it that a beast loves me? You do not recognize me, my love? No, not in this form. We have lain together once before, you and I, my love, and I have sought you out ever since. You evaded capture by my hounds, but I caught your woman, and her wicked plan served my needs far more than hers. Come to me, my Koran. Let us be together at long last. And of course, He's pretty salty still at what happened to Savannah, and he just doesn't want to hug this wolfware, I guess. Anyway, in the unmodded game, it's actually paradoxically more difficult to save Koran, because they are going to try to attack him. And you know, if you're prepared for what comes here, you can kind of, you know, quickly go in, block access to him, and kill the wolfwares before they can kill him. But actually in SCS, SCS gives him some potions of invisibility, which he usually uses to kind of, you know, be safer, I guess. And we can kill Lanfear and her, yeah, he just used one, and her pack of werewolves. Let's just make sure that they don't get Koran. Right. I thank you for your aid, Senashira. It pains me that I was blind to Savannah's true nature, and I apologize for endangering you with my ignorance. So, Koran, cool guy, and we actually have an option to offer him membership in our party again, but he is not going to be up for that. He is tempted, but he is just going to drown his sorrows in some alcohol and acquiring the services, perhaps, of some ladies, some companionship. So unfortunately we cannot recruit Koran in Baldur's Gate 2. By the way, when it comes to Lanfear, I just wanted to mention that there is quite a bit of story behind this character, because it's actually the name of a user on the old forums while Baldur's Gate 2 was still in development, was a loud, kind of prominent advocate of Koran in Baldur's Gate 2 being a recruitable companion. And when it was obvious that he is not going to be, Lanfear was very vocal about their, you know, disappointment, I guess, of Koran not being a recruitable companion in Baldur's Gate 2. So they actually made this wolfware in this quest and named her Lanfear for that fact. And also, there's yet another lesser known thing. If your female protagonist is named Lanfear, there's going to be a completely different outcome here, and I'm going to present a screenshot of it probably, where Koran is actually going to say that he's actually rather fond of the Lanfear that's not the wolfware, but our protagonist. And that's going to result in some different lines coming from Koran and Lanfear. So yeah, a pretty cool thing that I feel is not that well known. And Savannah had some more potions of invisibility for us. And yes, now we are done with those wilderness areas that got unlocked in Chapter 6. And I think this is pretty good for an episode, so I'm going to cut it here. Thank you, as always, for watching, and we're going to resume our adventures in the next episode. And I'll see you then.